Hello and welcome to the Sweaty and the Farmer and the Game Design, where we deliver at your house the amazing talking boysenberry that only listen to you, but if you lose an argument to it, you can always eat it. This is episode number 26. Glory days. I am the long-name gamer, the Sweaty.
And I am Lucho the Farmer. Thanks for joining us on this episode this week. We put the ice cream on the pumpkin pie and the gravy on the turkey.
Wow, super American. But before that, let's take a look at this week's news, which, for some reason, there they are. Games that you can play for free while stuck at home. Microsoft's AI experiments are creating unbeatable raid bosses, and the entire Spanish soccer league, the European one, including Barcelona and Real Madrid, are going to play a tournament in FIFA 2020. So, some recommendation for you under quarantine for some games that you can play at home. Right? Free games on top of that. So in case you have no money, as everybody that is stuck at home probably doesn't have. What do you say, Lucho?
It's interesting.
Yeah. Some games are Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which Ubisoft made it free to play on Uplay, so you can get on that and download it. It's a big game. It will keep you entertained, and you can visit ancient Greek where you played. So that's cool. Have you played any Assassin's Creed, Lucho?
I've played all of them except this one.
You play even Syndicate?
Yeah.
Wow, you play more than me. I stopped at like Assassin's Creed, the fourth one that they came out, the fifth one that came out. I think I played like the first three, and after that I lost kind of track of this franchise. So
yeah, after the first three games, it became convoluted, but
yeah. So there you go. You haven't played this one. It's for free.
I still own a copy of Odyssey. I still have to play it.
Oh, there you go. You already have it. All right. The next game is Life is Strange Episode 1. It's free on the Microsoft Store, which is a very cool, old-style adventure point-and-click kind of game. Right? About time travel and girlfriends, stuff, and issues. It's very cool. Have you seen that?
It says that it's a coming-of-age adventure, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of stream of the game, and the game is really cool. The only adventure game that I played like in the modern times has been The Walking Dead from Telltale Games. It's the only one, and The Wolf Among Us, the first episode.
You see.
Yeah. All right. The next one is Alto Odyssey. This I haven't seen any, but it's an endless runner game in the Apple App Store. You can download for free.
It looks quite
very
beautiful.
Pretty. Yeah, it looks super beautiful. It has good reviews. So there you go. In case you don't have a chunky computer, you can play in your Apple devices. And then we have the Epic Store games have like a rotation sometimes of free games. And this week they put up Watch Dogs and the Stanley Parable.
Oh, nice. Watch Dogs is quite entertaining.
Yeah. I did like Watch Dogs. I played the 2. That's the one that I picked up for free. Like, I think it was like a month, 2 months ago, or something like that. Last year, something like that. They put Watch Dogs 2 for free at some point, and I grabbed it. But now we have the Watch Dogs for the first one, in case you want to play and the Stanley Parable, which is a great indie game about like the building of games and self-consciousness is very cool, and a narrator and stuff. It's really entertaining game. Have you seen the Stanley Parable?
No.
No?
But I have heard of it, and it's not my thing.
It's not your thing?
Yeah.
All right. Well, fortunately we have variety. And then we have some free and discounted games on the itch.io apparently. They have like a variety of different like type of like mini games and that sort of stuff. And we have a very big list of free games at, of course, the best like company and developers at a loss. Good old games, indie
That's pretty cool.
classics, card games, Gwent, and a variety of games. Let's see the list. Is here the complete list? Yeah. Oh, a lot of games. This is a lot of games. Biomenace, Bullets, Kane, Doomsday Revenge, Scan Book, Flight of the Amazon Queen, Gwent.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of indie games.
Yeah.
That's I like that. That's quite interesting.
Yeah, that's cool, Dean.
I like trying out indie games.
Yeah. Yeah, so you have a bunch of games to try out. And of course, the battle royales and the other type of free games, League of Legends, Apex Legends, the new Call of Duty thingy. What else is a free game? Warframe. You can try Warframe.
It's free to play.
Yeah, you can try Warframe, which is free to play. What other games? Dauntless 2.
Dauntless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another one that is free to play. Very good
give it a
game.
try. It's a good game.
Yeah, there you go. And yeah, and then PlayStation now has some list of kind of renter games. If you pay like the subscription of PlayStation Now, so you have access to.
Yeah.
You have access to Horizon Zero Dawn, Uncharted, Control, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
I mean, to be fair, the EA thing also has a subscription thing.
Yeah.
And if you pay the subscription, you get access to pretty much all the library. So which is a fairly extensive one.
Yeah, there you go.
If like no matter what do you think of EA as a company, like they have a massive library and the subscription.
That is true. From all genres and taste, in case you're looking for something.
Yeah. You can. I think the subscription includes The Sims 4.
Yes.
So I don't know. Like there are things.
So there you go. There you go. So you have plenty of games to choose from. When you're at home and you want some me time, or to like some of these games, like especially the indie games, you can play it with your family and that sort of stuff. But if not, there's tabletop games too and that sort of stuff.
A lot of the indie games are like pretty family friendly or family oriented. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, there are even visual novels. That's interesting.
Yeah. Man, visual novels are a weird genre. There's some that are very, very interesting.
I mean, if you are into that kind of thing, they're interesting.
For sure.
It is like a very, at least for us, it's a very niche kind of thing.
Yes.
So I like if they're telling an interesting story, they can be good as any good story.
Yeah,
it's an interesting storytelling device. That's honest.
Yeah. Then we suggest you to like, I don't know, if you have to catch up with some anime that you haven't seen. There's a bunch of anime out there. If you're into anime. Right? That's my suggestion. Yeah. That's my personal suggestion. You have anime to catch up. Now is the time. All right. Your next story. Microsoft's AI experiments are creating unbeatable raid bosses. So apparently, for a couple months, deep learning program is being putting machine learning through like AI and raid boss encounters and making bosses for an MMO like game, right? And the results are that the bosses became too difficult, but super interesting. So now what they're trying to do is like take that and like lower the difficulty of the actual raid boss. So what do you think? Huh?
Sure.
Maybe in the future we can have like raid bosses that learn or something like that.
I don't think that's what they are going for, but sure.
What do you think they were going for then?
That's not what they are doing. Like, it's not that they didn't create a raid boss that has AI that is learning.
Yeah.
they created an AI that produces raid bosses.
There we go. Yeah.
It's different.
All right. So is the AI is the one making the raid bosses.
Yeah.
It's not the raid boss itself.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for the clarification. Cool. But still, they have to tone down those created raid bosses, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, creating overpower raid bosses is not that hard.
But then but I was saying that's like maybe this system can be implemented like in a way that you can get like randomly generated, interesting mechanical, diverse bosses and mini bosses and raid bosses, etc., right?
Maybe I'm not sure how the randomly generated part of that.
Yeah, but if you have an AI that makes raid bosses, why not? Why not?
Yeah.
Is it too heavy?
Out of your experience rating, like how it random takes away from the enjoyment.
No, I'm not saying I don't know. Yeah, that's a difficult discussion. Like if it's a raid as we know it now, if the boss keep changing, that will make it like unbearable. I see your point. Yeah.
I mean, the enjoyment of beating up a raid is getting good at the encounter.
Yeah.
Will that enjoyment diminish as like the more time that you play a raid? Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Of course. Maybe.
But that's the point for me. Like having just random bosses all the time takes away from that.
Fair enough. What if it like in subsequent playthroughs? So if you put like some baseline, right? So because
What?
like this will be useful in like to give like more replayability to those kind of experiences, right? You just like have this raid boss and you encounter the first time and it has certain mechanics, and then when you go to it again, then it has some of the same mechanics but some of different ones. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's exactly that falls in the same category for me. That takes away from the enjoyment of getting good.
But it isn't what heroic is in Mythic in a sense.
Yeah, but it's not random. It's a setup route of progression for you.
Okay, all right.
Like you know the mechanics.
All right. What about random encounters in the open world?
That's fine, but I don't think raid like world bosses are the way to go.
No.
I mean, you could try maybe.
Yeah. Like.
Yeah, I don't think like the raid environment is the right place for that.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But it's a very very curious like a story, and they wanna use some of the things, but because they're saying about like, oh, how can we like downscale the difficulty and that sort of stuff.
I mean that's fair, like as a way of generating new encounters that they then have to manually tune. It's fine.
Yeah. All right. And then on this docket on the news is because football is is canceled for a time. Apparently, they're organizing a bunch of like one player of each of the professional teams, and I think they were in the middle of the league, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
And they were in the middle because if I'm not wrong, these leagues finishes like the final of the league is generally towards before June, right?
Maybe I don't know the European leagues. So
yeah, it's kind of. I got the feeling that it's kind of around that time because I have this vague memory of like gambling one time about the final of this when I was studying in university. So I think it's like it's kind of around before June, something like that.
Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell.
Yeah. So they're taking a player from each like pro team, and they're gonna organize a big FIFA 2020 tournament. And apparently they want to get like professional commentators to commentate on the tournament. What do you think about the idea?
That would be more interesting if you pitch them against like professional FIFA
2020 players.
Yeah.
You can make it like an open tournament, right? You can make it like have these seats for the teams, the representative of the teams. They have a
Yeah,
bracket with pro
and
players, right? And
that would
then
be interesting. Yeah.
you make a bracket and see what happens. But I think my prediction will be like pretty much all the teams will be gone in the first round.
I don't know. Like a lot of the like you can assume that a lot of the players in these spread teams are not that old, so they grew up like playing
Playing
video games.
FIFA. Do you think? I think there are as much
Yeah,
as video gamers are like sport people.
I mean, if you think like professional players are somewhere in between 20 and like 33, 35
Yeah,
years old,
give or take. Yeah.
so they grew up like with video games,
Yeah, that is true. That
especially
very
like
much.
probably the younger players in the team, like
Yeah.
the 25-year-olds, which I'm pretty sure is the bulk of the teams.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying they're like world class gamers. I'm
Yeah.
saying they can they probably spend some time playing FIFA and just hanging around with friends. So
Yeah, fair enough. I think it's a great idea. And it will be super like the things like it will be super interesting to see all these like sports fan people going to find this kind of tournament and like advertising to them so they go to YouTube or
it is
Twitch and watch it
it is a
live.
good opportunity if they allow um like the fans of the teams to like take part somehow.
Like in
Like it's a marketing
this
strategy.
the Aces thing is what is that, like creating like there is something that a bunch of other esports games do, and it's like, oh, there's this tournament, who do you think is gonna, you make a bracket and who do you think is gonna win, and then they give you prizes in the in-game form or something like that, right?
No, but that doesn't work because now we're talking about soccer fans, not video game fans.
All right, I don't know how to,
That's
well, that
different.
was the first thing that crossed my mind when you say that.
Yeah, but that doesn't make sense for that audience because like soccer fans are fans of like they don't care about or you will assume that most of them really don't care about getting things in a video game, you know?
Yeah.
So
All
it's
right.
kind of sure.
So what will
No,
you
it'll be, for
do?
example, interesting if I don't know, they enter a competition or something and the winners get to pair up with like some of the players and play FIFA, like 2v2s or something like that.
All right, like it, like
And
yeah,
one like one person in the pair is one of the pro
viewers.
players and the other is a fan.
Oh, but how will you select them?
I don't know, like
A raffle or something like that, or like a viewing,
raffle, I
whatever.
know a competition, a racket for OnlyFans. I don't know,
There you go. Yeah.
something like that. I'm just saying, like the motivation for a like a soccer football fan is not getting things in a video game.
That is true. That is true.
It'll probably be more interesting if I don't know if you get to some I don't know, to play a video game with your favorite soccer player or
That would be cool. I would much like that.
I guess that would be cool.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That it could be a nice marketing
Opportunity.
opportunity
Yeah. Yeah.
if it is used correctly.
Yeah. So yeah, and that's all the news. The rest, that's our news for this week, Lucho. Short, sweet, and cool.
Yeah, because you're in
Yeah.
the zombie apocalypse.
Yep. And of course, stay safe and keep you informed and etc.
Yep.
etc. In these times of stuff and things happening around you.
Yep.
So once more, please can you read the disclaimer while I turn on the light that I forgot?
Yeah, the discussion in this episode is mostly based in our in-game experiences. So take all of our comments with a grain of salt, and you can always contact us for corrections and things that will inevitably get wrong throughout this discussion.
Yeah, if you think we're wrong, you can always like correct us, etc., and we'll very much take it into next podcast and clarify wherever we were wrong on. You send us that feedback. So this is the end of a 3-part Division 2 review. Ironically, in the middle of the pandemic, so we are here to criticize and try to fix or better of the Division 2 problems that we highlight in the other 2 podcasts. So first thing on the docket is, why did Gear 6 take so long to find a place? And I will add to this that why did it take them so long to get to a happy place for the gearing in general in Division 2? Because we've been like a year of overhauls and corrections and modifications, etc., etc.
I mean, full disclaimer, I never really complain about the gearing app in the game.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yes.
So I never thought gearing up was not a bad place.
Yeah. But they still like change it a bunch.
Yeah, I don't know why. I still don't see why.
They change it from like points that you have to percentages to something, to like the restrictions of the gear, to like you can have gear on all the pieces. That was the first big change that they did. They like,
Yeah, I
now,
remember that.
because at the beginning it was like you can only have this brand set in this and this slot, right? And now the first change that they did was like you can have any brand set in any slot.
Sure, I really didn't mind that.
Yeah, me neither. It was like, oh, well, it put restrictions on the system, but it wasn't like...
It wasn't the end of the world. Like,
yeah,
the original version was, like, you have certain talents or things that are going to roll on specific pieces of gear that are going to roll for specific slots. Okay. So
Yeah.
you work in between those restrictions.
Yeah, but there's not constraints. So yeah, for me it was like, well, that the next big change that they did was I forgot. It was they bring in this with the name items. There's the skill problem, right? Because in the first system, the skill stats and that sort of stuff were not scaling.
Yeah, but that's a different problem.
Yeah.
Because that, like, the skill rework is not a problem of gearing up. It's a problem of a part of the whole damage system being basically unuseful.
Correct. And then after that, we have the change of name items. And then we have the gear sets that came with the raid, right? There was a bunch of gear sets that came with the raid. And there was there was like 3 gear sets that come with launch.
There were no gear sets at launch.
There were no gear sets. When did Patriot, Ongoing Directive, and Hardwire
came in? They came with the raid, basically.
They came with the raid too?
Yeah.
I thought Patriot, like, I remember having like a Patriot build for a long time. Like with
they may have launched a little bit earlier, but they came around the same time.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I was not very, like, I'm not very clear with the timeline of the thing. So, and then after that we had AC. What was the raid ones that the one that you just get into the raid? Aces and eights, tip of the spear, and there is one more. Oh, I forgot the name. I think I have it here.
I don't know the names.
I'm on my spreadsheet. And Negotiator's Dilemma. Those the 3 that came out with the that were only acquirable in the raid, I think.
Yeah, but they came a little bit after the raid was launched.
Yeah.
They didn't launch with the raid. They were only dropped on the raid.
Correct. So what is the thing about the gear the gear sets? Why don't you like the gear sets?
It's not that I don't like them. It's just that I don't know the state of gear sets now
Yeah,
and if they're viable at all.
yeah.
But I'm like by viable I mean like
Actually,
right viable.
useful. Yeah, yeah.
But like when they came out, they were pretty much
Bad.
non-existent
Yeah,
in the quote-unquote meta.
yeah. So my experience for what I saw was Aces and Aces what were meta on the raid at some point, right?
It was not. It could be useful. It
Yeah.
was fine if you got it, but it was not meta by any stretch of the imagination.
Okay, and that was
Like
the
it was
only.
cool if you had it.
Yeah.
The optimal thing was to have two persons with a set.
Yes.
And that was the only, like that specific scenario was the only case where that set was useful.
Wow. Okay.
So that's, if it is that specific, is not like meta game.
Yes. Yes. Correct. And the other ones like ongoing directive and dilemma were pretty much based on the skills like healing and skill use, and in the time that when they come out, skills were pretty like were in a bad place.
Yeah.
So they were useless pretty much. Patriot has a interesting system of things, but as I tell you, the only reason why I used Patriot back in the day, like I used two pieces Patriot, right? And it was because the 10% of armor in a build that was all armor based that I was using was higher than what other gear sets were doing, and it was because it was a percentage multiplicator, but not because the set was the set. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was it. And I think this got fixed in TU7. Yes, this got fixed in TU7 when all the skills were balanced, where the system became a little bit more flexible, and so you have like a bunch of skill builds running with hardwire, right? I have, and then and that's it. That's the extent that I've seen these gear sets like work into the meta through all the games, the game history. And then I saw like a tank build with Patriot, and that was it. And we're talking about vanilla. So what do you think? What do you think is the
Yeah,
reason?
but like seeing a build with a set doesn't mean that the set is really
Yeah.
like
So
those are off meta builds.
so what do you think
fine.
was the issue with the sets?
I think the problem is that I mean the sets were always kind of boring, really. Like they never offer anything like powerful at all.
Yeah.
That at least make them uninteresting to me.
Yes.
That doesn't speak of them being underpowered, but at least to me they were uninteresting.
Yep, that's correct. So I think it was, and in part two, it was because in the Division 1 sets were always the meta for a long time, apparently. So they were scared to put a lot of power into the sets, and that happening again.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a good decision, but sure.
Yeah. And like and like the sets were like a little bit lackluster. Well, the one thing that I don't like about the gear sets is that they're missing the third stat roll. Like comparing with the yellow sets, right?
No, that's fine because the sets are supposed to provide like
Be more
powerful
powerful,
gimmicks.
Yeah.
So that on top of having the third stat or the third roll
Yeah.
would make them too powerful. So I get it. It's a balancing decision.
Yeah.
The problem is not that. The problem is that the things that they offer is not interesting or not powerful enough, or the
No,
gimmick that they provide is not useful. It's not. It's like too niche to use in general gameplay.
well, maybe it's not game changing enough, right? Because the sets,
Oh, they're definitely not.
yeah, they were supposed to be like game changing. And like, for example, I understand Aces and Eights. Aces and Eights is the only one that I say, oh, that is kind of interesting,
Is
right?
it really? It's completely random.
Yeah, I say kind of.
It's not. I mean,
I
it's
never
not
played with the
really
set,
not
right?
interesting at all. It's just like you shoot things hoping for the right
Card to drop.
buff or debuff to appear,
Yeah.
and then you have like a little window when all your team has like extra damage.
So Patriot is like more consistent in terms of giving you buffs and debuffs that Aces and Eights. That's what you're telling me. Even
I
like if
mean, X
Patriot
and H
buffs.
is as consistent as you are as getting headshots because the chances are better the more headshots you get.
All right. Oof. Okay. Yeah. I see why.
But that can be hard for a lot of people.
Of course.
So,
Yeah. So yeah, they were like low star, but I think it was like a fear of them not putting too much power or like not making it interesting. Like I've seen like this one said what's the name? Tip of the Spear. And Tip of the Spear is all around giving you more damage into your special lab like weapon. Right? But
yep.
how do you make that workable? Because it's an interesting like concept. Like I just want to make you your special or your quote unquote primary weapon, right? Kind of thing. But how do you
I
make
think
it?
I think that's the wrong approach actually,
Yeah,
because the signature weapon that you have,
yeah,
it's a special already on itself.
yes.
So why do you want to make it
More
more
special.
special? No, it is just like if you think about how do you use it.
Yeah,
So you pop it out whenever you have like you're looking for the perfect situation to pop your special weapon.
yeah, yeah.
So it is a special already because you're not using it all the time.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Maybe the sniper rifle is the one that you're more likely to use all the time.
Yes. Plus, you have like you have the restriction that you don't have like ammo for your special weapon all the time.
Yeah, but so I don't think that's what I don't think you should be buffing or like polishing the special weapon thing.
Yeah. So
That's what I'm saying. I think that's the wrong approach
So
for a set.
you suggest here that we should use the D3 approach to gear set, maybe apply to the gear sets of the division.
I think it will be more interesting to have gear sets that change skills for like furthermore, you know?
Yeah. But will you make it? Will you make it like? All right. So there's of course there is the problem. Is like yes, it's interesting to make it in the sense that oh yeah, I have an idea. Anyways, it's interesting to make it in that sense, but then you will get like because people complain all the time. The with that mentality, the majority of the sets will have to be related to a skill, right?
I don't have a problem with that.
But what about guns? People will ask. It's like, oh, there should be a gear set that buff my LMG or my sniper or
I don't see a problem with that. Like if you want to buff an archetype of weapon, sure.
Yeah. How do
you could even buff a brand of weapons.
A brand of weapons. You talking about not a yeah. So SMGs, LMGs. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, an archetype.
Yeah, an archetype. So how will you go about doing it? Because we have that kind of power in the yellow gear, technically in the rare gear.
Not really.
Like you have SMG damage, LMG damage, and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, but again, like think that the things that the gear set suffer should not be straight up buffs. It should be like changes on how it work.
All right, so let's think about an example to make it like contextual.
Mm,
Let's see, for example, let's start with the easy one, with the skills. Let's start. I'm gonna make a set called uh, Demolitionist
the
Wish.
name doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just explain the thing.
Yeah. And then it will say like the first is like you get extra bombs in your drone. This is 2 pieces. Right? Some amount of
That's
extra bombs in your drone.
not that interesting, but go on.
Let me continue. And then the third, it is 2, 3, and 4, right? Yes, 2, 3, and 4, and then the talents in the chest and the backpack. All right. Then the 3 piece is like your drone. Your drone deals more explosive damage.
Nope.
Like a percent of explosive damage.
Nope.
And I'm trying to get in
Nope.
there. Like
Bad idea.
Let me finish my idea. And then in the 4 piece, then you get an extra bomber drone.
Bad idea.
Bad idea? You think that's a bad idea?
You're only buffing the damage. You're not changing the way that it works.
Well, I'm giving you an extra bomber drone.
That's just extra damage.
All
that
right,
effectively doesn't change how you use it.
All right, then give me your example then.
But you know what I'm saying? Like all the things that you described just gives you more damage.
Yeah.
But that doesn't change how the bomber drum functions.
All right. So you'll do it about fundamentally changing how the bomber drone functions.
Isn't that what we
Yeah, what
isn't that the
saying.
valuable thing of the?
Yeah, I thought that giving you an extra one were differently enough, but maybe not.
But that doesn't change. Like the problem with that is that doesn't change how you use it.
All right. Maybe if you make if you stay instead of.
So what for example, if you're able to aim the bomber drum like at one specific enemy, the one that you're shooting, or you can mark an enemy, and
I was thinking something like that, like you mark an enemy and then the bomber drum just like sits in your back and shoot rockets, like the bombs, to the enemy that you're shooting.
It changed the bombs for like hit-seeking missiles or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And now you get like extra control over the damage instead of giving you more damage and like losing damage because of the AoE nature of the bombs.
But
when you aim, like when you use the drum, you just tell them go in this direction and bomb this area.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
That's how you use it now.
Yeah.
Now it could be more powerful because you have extra control on the
when the drone does.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting. Like, yeah, he hovers and then he shoots bombs to whatever you aim in, and that will like.
But that will change it because I assume that now the most use that the drone sees is to clear trash.
Yes.
Because it does AoE damage.
Yes, correct.
So now if you can actually aim all the damage to like a specific enemy,
then it becomes
instead of being AoE, it becomes single target.
Cleaning. Yeah, and then you can like now it's killing bosses and that sort of stuff. Now it's for doing like burst damage instead of AoE damage.
Now the way that you use it is different.
Yeah. And what will you put? Will you keep like the 2, 3, and 4 pieces structure?
I'm reluctant to that because that's
yeah.
The problem is that they cannot be as powerful, so they outshine. So that people just use those buffs instead of the last one.
Yes.
You see what I mean?
Yes. So, but you.
So that's what I don't like. Like base that increases, like just more damage. That's kind
more
of which is a problem that Diablo 3 had at some point. So
still has, because there's some classes that uses like 2 pieces of X. This
I know
say that does not like it has nothing to do with with what you're doing.
I know, so that's what I'm saying, that especially like the straight up just that increases or like a dangerous minefield to walk.
Right.
For balancing purposes and for actually like encouraging the people to use the whole set instead of
Yeah.
two
So
like the effect for 2 pieces.
maybe make the set smaller, 3 pieces, to keep that flexibility, because the whole point that they have those tiers is so you can combine sets with gold items or exotics.
I know that,
Yeah.
but there is but you still want the people to use the full set, because then why did you put the whole thing?
You say like kind of going more to the D3 approach, that you have to wear the 6-piece in D3 in this case to make it work.
Yeah, but like if you no, but just thinking of terms of you as the designer of things. So you assign this set thing with the 4 pieces bonus.
Yeah.
You should do it in a way that it is encouraging players to use the full potential of the set, instead of
Okay.
just
Yeah.
taking the first bonus that you get and disregarding the rest of the design.
Yeah. Then my thing is like, then I will make smaller gear sets. I will make 3 slots or four slots on tops.
But that's I'll still make them bigger. It's just you have to make a decision. You either go with the set, and you then, for example, the bomber drone becomes your thing,
Yeah.
or you just don't use the set. And
But then you will have to either you have to power up like if you don't put like tier stats, then you have to make it as a normal kind of item set, right? Because you like
what are you talking about?
because when brasses come to like in numbers, like people are gonna be like, oh yeah, these sets give me like this drone that I can control. But like if I use this all gold set, and then I use the bomber normally, I will get a lot more damage than if I use, you know what I mean? If I use just a drone that bombs one target. Right? You have to, for balance, you have to bring those two things closer. That's why I say like, oh, then in the 2 I would just give me more explosive damage, and then in the 3 then I will give you.
I'm not saying that you shouldn't give 2 or 3 pieces bonus. I'm saying you shouldn't give damage.
So what kind of bonus would you give?
Well, I have no idea, but damage. But you know the damage is a bad idea.
But what can I give in terms of items that is not stats?
I'm not saying it's an easy, but it's a bad idea, and you have seen Diablo 3.
I know.
Okay, so keep that in mind. That's
like in Diablo 3, that sets that word gives you 3 things. Right? It gives you a base. It's like a base. They give you a base boost of gameplay and change. How do I explain this? All right. The base, the 2 pieces, it gives you the prelude to what the whole set is gonna buff, right? So
sure.
If this is a bomber drum thing, the set will give you some sort of damage or stat or something that has to do with your bomber drone. In this example.
Okay.
The 2 pieces.
Increase the radius of explosion.
Skills, radius of explosion, something like that. It doesn't have to. Then you're right. It doesn't necessarily have to be with power, right?
That's what I'm saying.
So you can either give it like skill haste, cooldown reduction. You can give him cooldown reduction, which some sets already does in the game that gives skills cooldown reduction in general. But that will be just for that specific skill. And then after that, they give you protection, right? And I'm talking about like Diablo 3 sets. They give you some sort of like damage mitigation or something like that has to do when you're using that skill.
That doesn't have to, like, that is in Diablo 3.
Yeah,
because
I'm
of the way that Diablo 3 is.
Yeah, I'm trying to make a parallel here.
Yeah, right? But I don't think damage mitigation is a must in the Division 2.
No, it's not a must because of the way that the game works. But I mean, I'm giving you like the direct example. So maybe you will give like in the case of the bomber drone, let's try to build one to see what direction we can take the rest of one. So yeah, so you can give it the logically will be not to give him radius because we're gonna center to do single target damage as we were talking about, right? So radius explosion will make more sense, right?
Or decrease it.
Yeah, decrease radius explosion, or like
Sure.
just cooldown. You can give them cooldown. You cooldown reduction to your drone, right?
Sure. You have to balance it, but cooldown is fine.
Yeah, cooldown is fine. As a 3 pieces, what will be the next step to give? Damage? You say damage? No, because it will take it. It will take it in another thing. So, what will you put there?
Speed of the drone.
But it will sit on top of you shooting the missile, so it doesn't need a speed.
It doesn't have to sit on top of you. You were the one who said that.
If you want to make it like, well, I was the one. Well, thinking about it inside the design of this imaginary set, right?
You can have the drone following the enemy.
All
Like,
right, that could be the 2 pieces. Now your drone follows an enemy. Shooting bombs.
No. It's just that I've never thought of this skill as sitting on top of you. Like,
well, if it's a single target, it will be hovering somewhere and shooting, right?
yeah, it can hover the enemy.
It can hurt enemy, all right. So what will be the 3 pieces?
But the enemies in the division tend to move a lot.
Yeah, that is true.
So if you increase the movement speed of the drone itself, it's more likely to stay on target.
But it can shoot the missiles from afar, so it doesn't need to be like right on top of it. Right?
But that's the point. I never, like in my original idea, it was never shooting from afar.
All right, fair enough. But
Because it's a bomber drum, it's dropping bombs on the.
But now
thing.
it will no longer drop bombs. It will drop missiles. It will shoot missiles now.
Why?
Because that was the final power of the set. That was what we were gonna change.
Oh no, for me the change is only that it was gonna do single target damage. That doesn't mean that it has to shoot at the thing.
How do you think it will do? Like, you think it will like hover over the enemy and just drop bombs on top of him?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Now that we clarify how it works, then speed is a good one because it will to keep up on the enemy.
Yeah.
So you augment the speed, and then at the end, at the 4 pieces, let's say, as keeping with the structure of the division, right? And the 4 pieces, it will give you single target damage, and then you put the damage there, right? You put the augment in damage in that skill. So it will do more. The drone will do more explosive damage. That's where the power is, right? In the 4 piece.
Yeah, although I'm not sure I will put extra damage to it.
It is what the majority of gear sets like, to encourage you to use all the pieces. You put the damage. You put the big carrot at the end.
Yeah, maybe, probably.
That's what the majority of sets does. Put the big damage at the 4 pieces.
Yeah, but I'm not a big fan of just putting more numbers.
I don't know what else to tell you. It is because it has to give you that at the end, because if not, you're losing a lot of power using the set, and it will not encourage you to use it.
Maybe.
That is the problem, right? That is the problem.
Maybe.
And then the balance is like at the end, when you crunch all the numbers, the balance is like if you use a full yellows to use the bomber drone, it will technically do kind of closer to the same damage that it will do with the set and then 2 pieces of yellow gear, right? But the difference will be that with the set, you get single target damage. With not the set, you will get normal AoE damage, right?
Maybe.
That's the goal. So for that to be balanced, some kind of power has to be given somewhere in the set, because of you sacrificing the 4 points.
If it is lacking, sure. But if it is not.
Of course not. Like you, that comes, that the number thing, that how much if you put damage here and there or not, that comes with the balance of the game. What is in the rest of the item, the itemization. inside the system. That's my point, right? So
Yeah.
that's why you tend to put the power at the end to kind of like to reward the player of using the full set, right? And to make for the slots that you already sacrificed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and yes, I agree with you. I think that will be a very much interesting.
I mean, if not interesting, at least it changes the way that a skill
Yeah,
works.
absolutely, absolutely. And I can imagine something like that with the guns, where you change. Maybe I think the easiest thing to do will probably be would you change what the gun does or how it does damage. And for example, for the SMG, I will make a 4-piece set that on top of the thing that you do, maybe you do bleed damage or electric damage and you crowd control people, something like that, right? For the guns. That would be the easiest thing to do, right? Because right now it's just like they give more damage to whatever gun you're using.
Yeah, but there are no real sets for guns.
Yeah, exactly. So then I will change like for example, instead of having a exotic LMG that shoots infinite bullets, I will have a set with the 4 pieces is like you don't reload if you're using an LMG.
Could be.
Right? That would be like that would be the way that I will do gun based sets.
Could be. I don't know if that is a stepping on the utility of exotic weapons, though.
Well, let's think about exotic weapons. What the bullet king is a dumb and easy to build exotic weapon. If you think of the others, like the Nemesis, when you put the mark, that's like very different of what you can do in a sniper kind of set, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because for example, if I will think about like a sniper exotic kind of thing, I will probably do some kind of crowd control on the headshot, or like or probably the like explosive damage, something ridiculous. That's too ridiculous. I probably put like electric bullets because the one of the biggest problem of shooting people in the head is like they don't stay still. So you can like aim properly. You have to kind of like flip it. So with a set of sniper, the easiest thing to do is like give them like you shoot them you shoot them in the body, then they will get like an electric bullet. Then that will give you time to aim at their heads and crowd controlling for a little bit. And considering like the speed of the snipers of the marksman rifle, that seems fine. You were not gonna like crowd control an entire room. And you can even if that's a worry, you can even put it like an internal cooldown on it.
Yeah, you'll have to put internet cooldown because even if you cannot crowd control an entire room, if you can stun lock a boss, it's a bad thing.
Yeah, you probably pull an internal crowd control, but that will be the way that I will approach. Like skills are way easier because they have like a bigger like design space to work with, because they can be like stretch and do weird stuff and that sort of stuff without breaking the fantasy of the game. But the guns are the part that I will say, well, I'll probably do like some kind of status damage or some kind of ability of no reloading or like generating extra bullets or something like that.
The no reloading is lazy.
I know.
I never liked the no reloading thing.
Yeah, I know. But like, what else? How you affect the gameplay of the weapons?
I'm trying to think. what if for example, the gear set, for example, the end goal for a gear set for SMGs is to increase the distance, how is it called? The effective range.
The effective range, the optimal range?
Yeah.
So to make them like...
To make them like medium
range SMGs?
Yeah.
But wouldn't they like kind of being like the things like that will you have to make it more unique because that will invade AR gameplay or the AR
Yeah, but that's
space.
that's the whole point.
And that the things like it will lose like the gun will lose kind of his personality because the point of the SMG is that they're fast, they do a lot of crit, so you have to be closer to target. That's the risk that you're paying for playing with the SMG
Yeah, but you're paying with a lot of gear slots to gain
to gain like
that.
distance on the
Yeah,
not damage drop off.
yeah,
That could be a fair price to pay in like this is difficult because it's like you have to have in mind the entire balance of the game.
yes, of course it's
It's a
difficult.
different. It's
So I'm
like
not saying it's easy.
yeah, but absolutely, I think I agree with you. I think that's the biggest problem of the gear sets in the Division Two. But it's funny because what do you think about like the backpack, and the chest piece talents of the majority of the sets?
What do you mean?
That the only thing they do is like make you better at doing what the set does, with you sacrificing the two only talent slots that you now have.
That's fine.
Yeah, you just lose power to make the whatever the talent like the set does better. So it's like in the
Yeah,
case of hardwire that gives you like instant cooldown, then if you have the chest piece and the backpack, it reduces the time, and it gives you more damage in the skills and reduces the time that the cooldown of instant cooldown of skills that you have, for
that sounds
example.
fine.
Yeah. So will you keep that necessity of chest piece and backpack to remove the power from
Oh
those
yeah,
two
definitely.
talents? Definitely,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because
because those are the largest prices to pay
yeah, for
when doing a
once,
build.
and the other thing
So yes.
is, and the other thing that I will say is like are the most visible part of the gear in the division.
Mm, yeah, the thing is that I would like to be able to change the look
All the
of
pieces, really?
yeah, of backpacks. Yeah,
Well, the things like the division has this because he has this relationship with brand sets, right?
I don't care about that. Like it would be really cool if I'm wearing like a military uniform
Yeah.
to be able to equip any backpack that I want and like maybe put a skin on it that makes it look.
Well, that's kind of like a cosmetic kind of thing. The discussion of
Yeah,
like
but that's
how
what
do
you're
you?
saying. Like
Yeah, it's like
you
because
just mentioned the look, and I'm
I-
saying,
I'm
yeah,
saying
I
that
will
the
change the
division
way it works.
want to keep that because they want to players to recognize the other players for what they're wearing in terms of gear. But I think at this point it's
Do
kind of
people
irrelevant.
really do that?
Exactly, that was my next point. Who actually goes around in like I don't know the dark zone or like running the world and looks at someone
It's
and says, he's using this backpack.
it's also really hard. Like that doesn't give you that much information because you don't know what roles that person has on that backpack.
Exactly, yeah, I know, I
What
know.
talents does that person has?
So my point was like, yeah, you're right. You probably like is dumb that you're not able. Maybe because they want to make the sets iconic, but you make a set iconic by using it, by making like popular
Yeah,
in the play base, and by making what it does really cool, not by looks. I think that will be my point.
yeah. It should be gameplay first,
Yeah,
look second. And I'm not saying like that they have to be ugly or something. Like you can design them to be good looking and appealing to keep the appearance, but if you don't want to keep that appearance, like I still believe the Division 2 has has more room to improve also
yeah.
the customization.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But anyway, so yeah, the gear set has to change. Even like if you have like weird, there's like right now there are. I think the game is kind of in a better state with the last patch. They reduce a bunch of like with the change of itemization and with the library. There are a lot more people using the sets in the way they were intended to be used. Like if you were to have like a wonky kind of like skill based thing, you kind of use hardwire. Like I even have like a weird build that I was using when I was farming challenging when I was constantly resetting my hive so I don't die. with hardwire. So what I will do is like my hive gets activated. It has a huge cooldown, but hardwires will reset my cooldown of the hive. So I use a shield to reset it every time I die.
Yeah, but again, that probably is like an of meta build.
Yeah, it's like something weird that you can do. But
Yeah, but that's the problem.
yeah, but the more
That's part of the
the more
problem.
that the game develops, for example, Patriot now is being used as what it's supposed to be used. A front tanky build that put debuffs and buffs on the enemies and helps the team. Right? And right now in the state that the game is, that there is a necessity for that to happen. So now Patriot has been used for that, right? In his entirety of all the set. Right? When you have frontliners that put buffs and debuffs on the enemies and tank the damage of the enemies. So in that sense, I feel like right now, for the state of the game, a lot of these sets are seeing more use, and there's gonna be a bunch of sets that are gonna come out with the raid. So we have to see about those. But for example, insist, what is the place of tip of the spear? What do you put a set that just augments your ultimate, your special damage? I'm gonna actually double check what the ultimate of the ability does. Like I will be interested in that. I have it here open. Where is it? There it is. Gear models. Gear set bonuses. Let's see. Tip of the spear. Talent. Specialization weapon skills increase total weapon damage. Advantage generate specialization ammo every 60 seconds. Alright, and the other one is crossbow expert. Aggressive recon generates an additional crossbow every 60 seconds. It's specifically for survival specialization.
Yeah.
Increase aggressive recon weapon damage bonus from 20% to 40%. Alright. I didn't know that it was like specific for the survival specialization weapon. Well, I guess that the 60 seconds is too long for you to be using your special all the time.
The special ammo generation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's unusual.
It's too long. It's too long. But yeah, anyway, that's the thing about the gear sets. Anyone, anything else that you wanted to add for that before we move on?
No, not really.
Not really. Yeah. Take that model to the stream. Like there's some that are interesting than others that are super lacklusters. And yeah, it's because I think you're right. I think what you said at the beginning, like the focus should be on gameplay changes. Of course, not as drastic as we were talking about with the exotics, but still.
No, but it should be. It's again like I feel like the Diablo 3 had the right idea.
Yeah.
Just the execution in the middle was really sloppy for a lot of the sets.
Yeah, they just put a bunch of power everywhere on the sets, like a lot of power.
That's what I'm hesitant
Yeah,
of.
that's
just
what you're trying to
putting
avoid.
straight up power.
Yeah.
But the idea is right. It's encouraging you to use a couple of skills.
Yeah,
or
specific.
Like to spam them or to use them on a specific combination.
Correct.
And that's a good idea. It was just execution in the other 3 was really sloppy.
Yes, correct. So yeah, for that's for the gear set. So if you're not into the to-do list type of progression, then the game has little to offer. So you're saying that Division 2 is just like a list of things that you have to do, and then that's the game.
That's how it feels.
Yeah. Yes, I think so. Yeah, in vanilla, kind of. I don't know. Right now, it's like they're giving you more to-do lists, so you can choose your to-do list to do.
Yeah,
right?
But that's
right now you have like
not appealing for a lot of people.
Right now you have like the hunts, which are the thing that will say like it doesn't feel as much as a to-do list because it has a relation with the story, but still
it doesn't matter. It's still a to-do list.
It's still a to-do list. Yes. You have the leaks, which are time trials, which is the definition of to-do list. And the same with the projects and what else? And now the events that comes next week, we will see about that. It's probably like a set of challenges that you have to do to get rewards. But isn't that the majority of video games? In the grand
It
scheme of
depends.
things.
Not really. It's, I mean, not really at all. Like that's most of the video games that we play.
All right. Yeah.
But that's not, for example, like let's think of games like Zelda games or like Breath of the Wild or things like that.
Yeah.
They're more like the things that you do are more player motivated than just a list of tasks to complete.
Let me see. They're more playing motivated to compete. All right. Expand on
You know what I
that.
mean?
Yeah. Like I wanna. Yeah.
Because the edition 2 hits you in the face with, oh, this week you have to do these things, and today you have these dailies, and you have this other thing to complete throughout the month and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's a to-do list. And even if you are not, that's the main progression of the game, basically.
Yeah, but well, I think the intention now is like you choose what you want to do.
Yeah, you choose what to list to complete. That's it's the same thing. That doesn't change
So
the fact.
how will you change it then?
Oh, I have no idea. I'm just saying, but you see a problem.
Yeah.
Do you agree that that's a problem for a lot of people?
Yes. Like,
maybe not for us.
Yeah, we like stuff to do.
No, and I have claimed before that I like the to-do list approach.
Yes.
Sure,
yes.
that's okay for me, but a lot of people don't like it because they just feel
like obligated.
Not only obligated, but like
what?
Like narrow it in that path. Like the just game is just forcing them into that path.
And
a lot of people enjoy like exploring games and just going around and doing random things.
Yeah.
And the Division 2 doesn't have that much.
Well,
even if you're doing things in the open world.
Yeah.
Like you're still just, okay, I'm gonna go there, and there.
Yes.
And nothing in between getting to those points really matters.
Oh, okay. I don't know how to fake that thing. It's like,
I don't know if it's fixable, but it's a turn off for a lot of people.
It's just the style of game that the Division 2 is, right? It's the nature of the game.
It should be. Could it be?
Could it be something else?
No, I mean, could because, like, let's imagine that you log into a division and you say you're in the point of the game where, because this is my experience. Like, you're in the point of the game that I have a reasonable build by now.
Yeah.
I can do pretty much anything. Yeah. I can do everything I want. So you log in and you say, is there anything interesting for me too? And you see a list, like the task, is like, I really don't want to bother with this today. Does the game offer you something? And the whole point is, if it doesn't, then it has room for improvement.
Yes.
If it has, then I mean that's good.
I think at this point with the patch is kind of getting to that point, because you have the choice of what you want to do.
Again, but choosing between different task lists is not a.
What else is there? Like when you open a game and see, what is there to do? You choose between different activities. You don't do everything, even if you like the to-do list, right? You're like, today I wanna, I don't know, I wanna go and farm this thing, or today I wanna do trials, or today I wanna participate in this event, or today I want to go and hunt exotics, etc.
No, I completely disagree with that. And WoW is the perfect example. Like I can log into my account, go to my main character, say, okay, I already did all the weeklies, I did all the dailies.
All right.
I completed the dungeon level that I wanted for this week.
Yes.
I didn't need to work quests or anything like that. I didn't need to farm reputations more than that.
Yes.
I still can just go out and do something random. Like, I'm going to go do an all raid.
Yes.
I'm gonna gain something out of that? Not really.
So you think that the Division doesn't offer that kind of thing?
It doesn't, not in my opinion. I can even, like, in WoW, I can just say, oh, I'm gonna level up one of my alts.
Well, you can level up alts in Division 2, I guess.
Does it really serve a purpose?
No, because no, yeah.
No, because
There
you
was an
can
attempt
you
of
can change specs at
yeah, I
like
will.
specializations at
Yeah.
any time, so it
Yeah.
really doesn't serve any purpose.
Yeah, unless you have like I don't know. There was a beta before this new update. There was a beta of hardcore kind of style of game, and that would be the closest thing that I will say to if I want to like level up another agent, it will be in a hardcore thing and try to do hardcore things.
Yeah,
But that's
and
kind of another activity.
I know. And to be fair, that's kind of the same problem that a little bit Diablo 3 has. It's like,
Yeah.
and it's even worse in Diablo 3 because you only have one thing to be
Yes.
fair. But you see the kind of problem that I'm talking about. That
Yes.
it's not.
Absolutely.
If like you'll certainly reach a point where you have where the things to do, quote unquote, to progress are not offering you anything really, and you lose motivation to stay in game.
Yeah. Well, yes. Like yes. Yeah, that's difficult to prevent in that kind of game unless you have a legacy. Because the advantage of WoW is like you have kind of a legacy when if you want to do random stuff, the game kind of because of the
Yeah,
size
but
allows you to do that.
WoW has little things like, oh, I know my guild needs fish. I'm gonna
Oh,
sit down for a
okay.
couple of hours and fish.
Oh well, yeah. The division doesn't have that many. Uh, what is the word I'm looking for? Like sideways systems.
Yes,
Because the only thing that you
that's the
do
point.
because the only thing that you do as an agent is go and kill bad guys.
Yes, I
That's the
know.
only thing that you do as an agent. But then that kind of gave me an idea because if that's the thing, then you can broaden that scope to maybe like what we were talking last time, like maybe rebuilding a settlement or making your own settlement or like developing this particular skill in that you're very good at finding water or like you're very good at fixing electronics or and then you can produce like kind of like consumables. So that's no man, this is crazy. You got me thinking of like
It could
making
have like a
division.
profession side.
What?
It could have like a profession side of things.
Yeah, maybe, but that would be like whoa, like MMOizing Division 2 kind of thing, like putting out
Um,
putting
are you
up
against
closer
that?
to the RPG side of things, right?
I like RPGs. I don't see
Of
a problem
course,
with that.
of course. The question is like, it is possible, of course, to do that, right? But how it doesn't become like, how it doesn't like not become genre dislocating, if it's a word that I'm looking for, right? How is not that becomes like a more efficient way to approach the game instead of like going and shoot bad guys because the gameplay of the division is still great,
Oh, it could be. You just have to
right?
be careful the way that you do it.
Exactly.
But again, it's not. I'm not saying that the solution is easy
Yeah,
to implement. Like yeah, it's gonna be hard to balance.
yeah, it's gonna be crazy, but it could be if like
Also, the answer could be it doesn't need it, and it's
yeah, the
fine.
answer could be it doesn't need it, it's fine as it is in genres. Like and I think that's the generally like, and I've seen it on the community. That's the generally approach of a lot of people had to the game. Like if you play the division, it's because you like this very specific type of game, and nobody is arguing that division should be more mainstream. At least that's the sentiment of the community that I get. Like the game, like what the sentiment of the community is like. The game is good for what it does and what kind of game it is. And if you like the division, you like the division, right?
Yeah, I know, but let me ask you something.
All right.
Did you see yourself playing the division in 1 year?
Do I see myself playing the division in a year? It depends.
Honest to God, like
It depends. It depends. It depends if the end content, if the rate thing, like that kind of experience and that kind of thing is good enough, and it will be a constant in the game, right? If you have always like a big ass activity that requires coordination to do, they will like I will keep coming back to the division to do that, right? And then of course they have to keep expanding the game, like more story traits kind of things, maybe another location and that sort of stuff. That will keep me coming back, but mainly the rate thing. Like they have to deliver on those big event kind of activities.
you with those. Okay, then did you see yourself playing WoW in a year?
Absolutely. No doubt about it, especially because I want to go into the progression of Shadowkeep as I didn't go into like the beginning prediction of BFA. Like,
Sure.
for me, that's mostly because I pre-ordered Shadowkeep, but like I really did enjoy the game and I wanted.
Shadowlands.
Sorry, Shadowlands, and I want to see that progression and see how it is, how the experience from the beginning, and have the power to like, because right now I'm like, oh man, I should go and farm this reputation because of this piece of power that I will be nice to do the thing that I actually love to do in WoW, that is group kind of activities. So dungeons and raids and battle things, but mostly raids. And like I'm like, I should go and go and do the reputation, but like it's not gonna give me power and it's gonna take me forever, and the story is all news and I feel like not really interested in thinking Najitar and Mechagon and yeah. Right. And that's mainly the reason why I know I'm gonna be playing WoW in a year. Because I want to keep experience. I want to keep getting that experience in there, and that implies being effective for my group, of feeling myself being useful for my group. So being on day of the activity is nice, right? And for now, like the only thing that I really like to go and do in WoW when I open is like go do a dungeon run, or go do like the daily invasion thing and the visions, right? Even so, the trips to the old rates are fun, but yeah. Yes.
Okay, and you went in that tangent that
I don't know.
going nowhere.
So, to your question is yes, I will see myself playing World of Warcraft the next year for sure.
Yeah,
The division, it depends because it doesn't have the record that World of Warcraft has. Yes, does that.
For me, it was like I left the division not for the record, but I just grew tired of the content.
You retire of the content. Okay. Expand on that. Why do you retire? What does that mean?
That means that I grew tired of doing the same task.
You grew tired of the content. I get you.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So you grew tired.
So that's why I stopped playing the division.
Yeah. So what if Warlords of New York had come sooner?
Yeah, that means like 6 months sooner.
Yeah, but think about it. Like,
now it's still playing.
All right. So so the problem was a timing problem. It was like if if you get like Warlords a little bit
I'm,
sooner.
I'm pretty sure that if I start playing Warlords now
Yeah,
and I play it for like 2 months, I'll then get tired of the game again.
yeah. So what? Yeah, this is the other conversation that we have. Like, you probably be still playing if the raid, if raid had come like different, the other raids had come different, no? Because it would be a different gameplay experience
Even
change.
like to be completely honest,
Yeah,
even if more raids come sooner,
yeah,
I don't know if I can stomach the gameplay loop of the division for more than a couple of months at a time.
all right, fair enough. I
And
can
that's because
understand
it doesn't have enough
variety,
variety
maybe.
for me.
Yeah, that makes sense. That I will agree to. Yeah, we'll
And
have to see. Yeah.
that's the problem for me with the division.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't like the game, like the game is amazing, but I cannot I cannot log into a game every week to the same weekly. They're not the same, but like you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
the same set of weekly missions and then the same set of challenges and hunts and things and
Yeah.
for more than a couple of weeks at a time.
Cool. I I have hope for the division too. I think the changes that they're doing right now with the season and that sort of stuff are kind of solving what you're talking about. Maybe it's too late for you.
I don't think so because they don't seem to be offering horizontal growth more than just more of the same.
Yeah, I want to wait to see how this event things goes. If it's like variable enough, and if it's like refreshes the loop of the division. Because if it does not, I will probably it will happen the same to me. I'll probably stop playing division in 2 months or something like that. In a month or something like that.
It's just that for me, the division has the same problem as Destiny 2.
Oof. All right. Yes.
No, in
Yes.
that sense that
Yeah.
doing the weekly, the daily things
Are always the same.
gets old pretty fast.
Hmm. Well, we all we
It's like an overall problem that I have with that time
of games. Yeah.
so constrained type
Yeah.
of thing. For as much as I enjoy doing weeklies and that kind of thing and just going through the list, I enjoy that a lot.
Yeah.
Like doing it in the same game week after week gets old really fast.
So maybe, yeah, maybe the solution is at the end having more of those side system side dishes, like the
Maybe, and I
rebuilding
mean,
things, and maybe that will help.
and that's maybe that just speaks to me personally as a
Yeah.
player, and that's why I do enjoy RPGs more than anything else
Yes.
because they have more
Things to do.
things to do on my own.
Yeah.
That's why I enjoy things like WoW because I can just go rogue and do whatever random thing I feel like doing,
Yes.
like leveling up professions or stuff like that. So
Cool.
that's I acknowledge that that's why I like RPGs more than anything.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like if the Division 2 wants to become like a persistent game, I don't know how they can keep a healthy player base engaged with the kind of gameplay loop that they have now. Which is not fun on
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just that it's not sustainable in the long run for most people.
Yeah. We'll have to see, but yeah,
But you see
you're
what
right.
I'm trying to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. I see. I see. I totally understand. Yeah. Yeah. All right. All right. Hopefully they keep a good pace and different, like the value, put more side system, or like put some different things into the vision to help that problem. That is
Yeah.
that is truly a real problem that a lot of these games come and end
Or
up falling into.
maybe it's not a problem and it's a thing of, yeah, this game is going to live for 5 years, and then it's gonna die, and we're gonna have a new game.
Yeah, that
That's
too.
perfectly fine. It's just
Yeah.
I don't know what the goal with the game is.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Do wait and see. All right. What types of encounters would you like to see in a Division 2 second raid? So, to recap, in the raid 1, we have a DPS check with a big chungos and machine guns. Then we have a gas room encounter when you have to alternate gas so you don't die and kill the big
It was a
chungos.
stack balancing mechanic.
Yeah, and we have the doggos, which is kill two bosses at the same time and avoid his abilities. And then we have the razorback, which is a bunch of faces to deal damage to a building, basically.
Yeah, it's a 2-phase fight.
Yeah. So what kind of encounters would you like to see in a second raid of the division?
A healing heavy phase.
A healing heavy. Whoa, a healing check. When something does raid damage. That would be interesting. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Like what?
I don't know how it would work, to be fair, but
probably like there is an encounter in the expansion which has kind of like taking damage in the floor, and you have to move to the other place and chase the boss. It could work like that. Like you are trapped in a room with gas, or like in this case it was vapor, like hot vapor that were kind of cooking you slowly, and you will have to maybe wait in that to move to the next phase of the boss, and then you have the healing check there, right? Or you're trapped in that room. Or you can make it with gas too, right? You can make it with a gas that's slowly killing you, and then you have your healer shooting you and put your drone on you, etc., etc. And like you have a beam all together, so the healing works and that sort of stuff. So you want a healing check kind of encounter, right?
It'll be interesting.
Yeah, I wanna chase kind of encounter.
Oh no, that's awful.
Yeah, you don't like that?
No.
That you have to run. I don't know. I imagine like something ridiculous, like a big tank which is moving, and you have to run.
Oh no, that's stupid.
And climb it and like disable so you can DPS it, and
that's very stupid.
That's like super dynamic. No, it's like the Carpus of Nasod kind of thing.
Not really. I don't know what you're. Then I don't understand what you're talking about.
Well, my idea is this: there is a big tank. You have ads around, and the tank is moving, right? So you have to protect the person who is going to climb into a tank and disable so you can DPS it down. That's my basic example. That's kind of a chase.
Sure, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a gimmick. Okay.
Yeah.
Like that's not a like the thing that you just explained is not a full mechanic. It's
kind of a part of a thingy. That's what occurs to me. But like, what else kind of mechanic? You're more experienced in raiding than I am.
Yeah, it's just that the thing that you're describing can probably be
a phase
sidestep in like by just having a really tanky player doing it.
All right. Okay. Then I don't know what to tell you.
No, but I mean, the whole point of a mechanic is that it has to
be coordinated, yeah.
Be unavoidable as well.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, you have to do it. All right.
That's the point, and that's what I'm saying. Yeah, maybe the thing that you're saying. Also, I'm thinking about the arena, like how big is the arena going to be?
Too big?
Yeah, but then it's a problem. I don't know. Maybe.
There we go. Maybe I gotta.
I don't see it now. Maybe.
I got a maybe. I win.
I just like out of your description, I don't completely see how it
Fair
works.
enough. What other different encounter will you like?
Um, what about?
And to clarify, it's supposed to be a raid about like it looks like a raid about rakers and chaos and kind of like
Sure.
very
The,
borderline-ish too.
it doesn't matter.
Like with fire and skulls and
It
ridiculous
doesn't
stuff.
matter.
All
Like
right, yeah,
you can put any skin on the mechanics. That's
that is
fun.
true.
Like the raid is not about the skin that you put on it. It's about
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
mechanic. You can dress the third however you want.
I don't know. I'm saying that just to like give you an idea.
Oh no, I'm thinking about mechanics. I'm not thinking
Yeah,
about
yeah.
the setting. Like really, the setting is you first come up with an interesting encounter, and then you just put the artist to dress it
So
appropriately.
what it will be?
I'm thinking about it. What could it be?
What could it be? Like you're more experienced in it, so you probably are the expert here.
I don't know if the X. I'm trying to think about what kind of.
You can have like puzzle responsibilities. You can have like I'm thinking about what you do in raids, right? You have like kind of individual responsibility of being a X place or do X thing. You have kind of puzzles parts when you have to solve certain things to move on, or solve certain things to do damage to the boss, or like you have to all be in a certain place to do damage to the boss. What of all that can be?
That's all. I'll let him. I'm thinking of things that have like, not stages, but like different stations to things.
Yes.
But all of them are feeling quite similar to the last fight in the current raid.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, when you sit in the circle and charge the thing.
Yeah, I was trying to think of something like that.
Man, designing a raid is hard.
Yes, of course it is. I mean, it is. It's not easy. Like,
yeah, like doing these exercises. Like, oh my god, this is really hard.
yeah, I mean, and like mad respect for the people who
who do it. Yeah.
does it. But, like, what, for example, if it is like you have like 3 different stations,
Yeah.
and you have to charge them with a specific debuff that gets to different people randomly.
Like oh yeah, I get you. Yeah, you get this debuff.
And yeah, and if one of the stations falls, like if the difference between the charge levels of the stations gets too high, like it does
Ray
raid damage.
So if you're not careful, if you charge one station more than the other, it will deal you raid damage. That sounds interesting.
But
that
it
sounds
can only be charged
with
by a
certain
specific person who has a specific debuff, and it's jumping randomly people to people.
Yeah, I see it.
So everyone has to take part of the mechanic.
Yeah, that looks. Yeah, I agree to that.
And it's kind of similar to the last encounter of the current raid. Like, while that is happening, you're kind of hoarding like enemies all across the place that you have to keep in check. It's basically an ad clearing phase.
Yeah.
And then after reaching a certain level of charge, you open the walls for a EPS phase or a DPS window.
But yeah, we don't have that kind of thing of you get a debuff and you have to do certain thing with that debuff. That is true.
Yeah, we kind of have it on the airplane encounter.
Well, you have like you get the chungus, which is your responsibility, right?
No, on the airplane encounter.
In which phase? In which part?
The airplane.
With the toxic?
Yeah, that it has 2 different rooms with 2 different debuffs.
It's giving you a general debuff to the room, not to you
off or
The off.
buff balancing phase
Yeah,
kind
fair
of
enough.
thing.
Fair enough. Yeah. And what happened if the person with the debuff dies?
Oh, it jumps randomly to another person.
Oh, okay. I thought you lose the buff.
No, I mean, like since the teams are small because these are like 8 people
Right, yeah.
Teams,
Yeah.
losing one person usually takes away a lot of DPS.
Fair enough.
So it is bad enough, and you have limited revives on the encounter.
All right.
As you have now on the raid. So
cool.
So it is punishing enough for one person to die because you have to use one of the 8 revives that the whole raid has.
Yeah. That sounds cool. That sounds like a nice encounter.
That could be interesting. It could make it chaotic, like everyone looking to, like, paying attention to which debuff do they have, so that they get in the right position.
And getting there.
Yeah, and I don't know, like
you can extrapolate the like thinking like that sounds really similar to a lot of mechanics that World of Warcraft has, and I was thinking about like World of Warcraft have a lot of this stacking in a place mechanic.
It does has a lot of especially the dungeon fights have a lot of stacking together.
Yeah, and you can have something like that in the Division. We don't have something like that.
Yeah, we could have like a soaking damage phase or something like that.
Yeah, like you're gonna be electrified or something like that, and you all have to take all the damage, or we will one shot the person. Right?
Yeah,
then we will have DBM on Division 2. Scream at you that you have the debuff.
Yeah, it could target randomly one person that gets and everyone has to stack on that person to suck the damage.
Yeah, if not, you will get one shotted.
But those things are interesting. Like it's just
absolutely.
I'm thinking of the same thing. I'm trying to think of the WoW mechanics and see if we can make them work.
Yeah, in the Division context, yeah.
Because not all of them can.
Like the majority we absolutely can. Like we can like explain it away with some kind of technology.
No, I mean not. I'm not thinking about like making it sense in lore, but like being something reasonable to in a game that doesn't has a completely defined roles.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Because in WoW you have tank mechanics,
DPS
you have healing mechanics, and then you have the other mechanics that are usually handled by the DPS player.
we technically count as DPS mechanics. We have a bunch of mechanics that only target
DPS but those
players.
are like the ones that DPS do are kind of just the raid mechanic.
In general. All right.
In general.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking what of those or which of those we can extrapolate to a game that doesn't, even if you tell me that now it has somehow defined roles, it doesn't really have defined roles. Like you don't have a tank that can soak infinite amounts of damage.
That's true. You don't have,
and you don't have like defined healers whose only purpose is
healing.
And like you don't have burst healing, you don't have AOE healing, you don't have any of those things.
Well, you kind of have AOE healing, technically speaking.
But you don't have, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know what you do. We're kind of close, but we're not like as defined.
It's not that. By no stretch
I understand. It's not as defined as, so you cannot put that kind of like very particular. You can extrapolate all those mechanics directly into Division 2. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I get you.
So I'm trying to think what kind of mechanics can be translated in a reasonable way. So, for example, mechanic like stacks jumping between tanks.
Yeah.
Or taunt mechanics that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Because the Division doesn't have like a taunt mechanic.
Correct.
So.
And like stacking things into people, like what happens if you get a debuff like the tanks does, like to a player that doesn't have enough tankiness and he just like disappears.
The debuff could be like, for example, you get randomly tagged by a wolf and then I don't know, a console appears on the ground and you have to go interact with the thing to get the wolf out.
Yeah, you can even have like pair mechanics when you have like interference between two players and you have to stay close to
You
the other
can
players.
tether players
Yeah.
or pair players or range
Range check,
checks
yeah.
or stuff
Range
like
check
that.
too. Yeah.
All those kind of things. I'm just trying to think of, but like mixing all those things in a coherent fight is difficult.
Absolutely difficult, man. Yeah, but yeah, we have, there is things that we can see, cool things that we can see in the second grade. All right, for next
I think something like pairing or like pairing players could be interesting.
Absolutely. All right, for next point is make the story great again in Division 2.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that we took out, that we criticized a lot last week, and is that, man, the story in the Division sucks.
Absolutely.
Such
the
big
world is
screwballs.
great. The lore is great. The world building is great. The cities are great.
Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah.
The world building is great.
Yeah.
It's amazing. The story in that world kind of sucks.
Yes. Yeah, and I think they have to make it like, I don't know, a more personal or like a more deep kind of story with more personal character driven stakes and sort of things.
I think this is something that I mentioned in one of the bullet points ahead, and is that I feel like the Division would benefit of a relatable, likable character like Decker Kane.
Yeah, you put that there, and I was like, do a like Decker Kane like character to connect me to the war, and it's like an historian, like a records tracker. I was trying to pinpoint it like that. Like no, wait, like a first wave hunter, which is being like going around, like those like old time hunters in Monster Hunter World.
like an old agent that is now kind of retired and is the grumpy old man that is giving you advice.
Yeah, you can make it like a first wave agent that worked in New York and like got badly wounded, right? And like it was close to that character in the first element because she is supposed to be an agent,
but she's not. But she doesn't have a personality.
Yeah, exactly my point. It could be something like that. like that. And a grumpy old, even in Warlord, there is a grumpy old dude in the settlement which has a lot of personality.
Yeah, but the problem is that these characters are not persistent throughout the whole game.
Yeah, it has.
And I'm talking about the woman on the first settlement. Like you interact with her a couple of times, and you help her in one mission, and that's kind of it.
Yeah, and that's why.
Well,
No,
like if you have played the older Diablo games, Decker Kane was always there.
Yes.
And like he was standing right next to your stash, so you will always see him. While the woman that we are talking about in the settlement, like she was never around.
She was on a house all the time.
But you see what I mean? Like,
yeah, of course. I see.
Like Decker Kane was the one who's always telling you stories. Was always the one who was like telling you about the world.
And that's the reason why. And that's the reason why we were saying last time that you get more attached to Agent Kelso than any other character, because she's the one that is interacting with you all the time, even if she's not the one giving you orders all the time. Right? Your interactions with her are not all the time like, oh, do this or do that. She's like, oh, this happened.
Oh no, it was never Decker's role in the game. At least not in Diablo 2. He was not giving you like he was kind of just a companion in your adventure. But it just feels like the Division could benefit a lot out of something like that gives you a connection to something instead of all these nameless, faceless people who you really don't give a shit about.
Yeah, and like to keep it, it will be nice. Like right now, it's difficult to do. I think the only person that could fill that role would be like Manny, which is the other second thing that interacts with you the majority of the time in vanilla, or Kelso, which is the one that interacts with you all the time in the game, right? But like it's kind of difficult doing it now to have like a mentor role type of agent operating.
Yeah.
But I think the closest thing that has to that is Kelso, which is the lady
Also,
agent.
Kelso, like you don't see, they don't sell Kelso. Kelso is more of an equal to you. Like,
Yes, that is true. Yeah.
more than
A mentor or like something. Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem. But like I'm saying, like the closest thing that you have right now in the game is that relationship with that one NPC.
But I think it could benefit of something like that.
Yeah, how will you introduce it by this? Like, how will you introduce him by this point?
Oh, by this point, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to retroactively introduce a character like that.
Yeah. It's like it's difficult, right?
Yeah, but by now, yeah, it's really hard.
But yeah, and then and in the same point, like make the NPCs less cardboard characters. Now you have like the experience and the time and the preparation to, and you in massive promise, and now that they're supposedly in a happy place with the item, which is yet to see. That you can like expand those stories of those NPCs that you forgot on the settlements.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. And that's the way that you stop making those NPCs good at cardboards. Give them more personality, more time with the player, more things to do with them. Get them out of those houses. Seeing them walking around the settlements.
Maybe that's one thing that they could do. Like maybe reuse some of the older levels and older missions.
Yeah.
To just retell or just to tell stories that involve them.
Yes.
And they could release that like on a, I don't know, bi-monthly, 3-monthly basis. Like a couple of small side missions that reuse the assets of the game that are more story focused and actually just gameplay focused.
Yeah, the only real technically the only real like work that you have to do there is voice acting and recording. And the building of the actual thing, right?
Yeah.
And in that case, it would be like not that expensive in terms, quote unquote, expensive in terms of production.
I mean, one would hope so. Maybe they have to change some of the spam rates and like put special things in some of the levels. But
all that is already built into the
hopefully
building tools of the game. Yeah, they have a proprietary engine for the Division 2 with their own tools.
Yeah, so. That doesn't mean that all those things are like that. That doesn't mean that the tools to things that you're saying exist.
Yeah, I don't know. Unless I go to Massive and see the tools they use it, I cannot say for sure that they have those tools.
So yeah, one would hope that it like the problem is that if they didn't thought from the beginning of reusing the assets. And a lot of the things are like hard coded on the levels.
Then that's a problem, yeah.
Then it is going to be really hard to.
Probably yes, because of the black dust thingy, right?
Maybe.
Like if I was a betting man,
it could have 2 layers or hard coded things. We don't know.
Yes, we don't know. But if I was a betting man, I would probably put my money on like they probably have some kind of tools because.
Oh, I wouldn't.
Black dust thingy.
You never know how people do things.
Yes, that's true. We have seen examples of this, so yes.
I wouldn't put my money on that. And we don't know how hard it is to actually do what we were saying. Yeah. I think it could work, and if the tools are all, it will be a nice, quote-unquote, easy way of delivering some story-centered missions.
Yes. All right. Cool. Something else to finish the deep dive today of what else can we do to make Division a better game?
I don't think so. Like, if they can make the story more interesting, that'll be great. I don't know if they can address my complaint of me getting bored of the game after maybe 2 or 3 months of playing.
Yeah.
And maybe that's fine. Like,
yeah.
They don't. Not all the games have to be RPG games. That's fair.
Yes.
It's a me. It could be just a me problem. No.
Yeah. And for me, it's like it's time for Massive to stop, to stop trying to overhaul 3, 4, or 5 times their item system, and start like actually focusing all their effort in content, hard content for the game, like in a reasonable pace.
The problem is that they have to do both things at the same time.
Yeah, but the things like they focus on that, like for the past year, they focus on that too much.
Yes, and that was a mistake.
Yeah, exactly my point.
I agree. But I don't think they can now focus on the other side and leave the balance.
No, of course not. Of course not. The balance is like I mean, like they should focus more in one than the other. That the other way
They
around,
have
because the
to-
first year that's why the game fall down so much in the first year.
They have to do both things at the same time all the time. It's a Warframe problem again.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, they were right. Yes.
They have to do at the same time new stuff and maintain the old stuff all at the same time.
Yeah. How does? Oh yeah. World of Warcraft doesn't care. Warcraft just moves on.
Oh no, World of Warcraft they just move on.
Yeah.
But they still have like even for them like that they kind of solve the releasing new stuff all the time because people expect. I mean, they still have to do it, but like people have like an expectation for scheduling on the release of new things.
Yeah.
So people are not like wondering all the time, oh, when is the new thing gonna come out?
They know that it's gonna come out in.
They
X
know
amount.
that it's gonna come out, and they have a certain expectation.
Yeah.
But they still are like rebalancing at least the new expansion all the time.
Yes.
So they are still kind of doing that all the time, like with the essences. Like they did the change of the essences just this week.
Yes. And they put like
So-
double XP for people who wants to do alts apparently.
Yeah, that's something pretty common. That's something that they do commonly by the end of an expansion.
Yeah. To encourage you to get your alts.
No, it's because by the end of an expansion, like people don't have, like after they have beat the raid, a lot of people start wandering off to other things
Yeah.
and put in the whole experience and just encourage people to stay in the game.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. And I think with that we close our Division 2 deep dive and hopefully Massey will hear this podcast and tell us that if we're wrong, if we're doing things that way, or if any of we talk about is too expensive to do or difficult.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe we have no idea what you're talking about.
Yes. We speculate
is
to
fair
the
enough.
best of my knowledge and the best of Lucho's knowledge.
Yep.
So now we move on to our audience questions and feedback. Remember that if you want to write this down, you can send us an email. You can send us a message, direct message. You can pass by my stream, leave some message there. We have two Twitters, and we have an account for like a Gmail account for the podcast that we check. Comments on the YouTube side we check, and I don't know if you can leave comments on some of the podcast places. I think in Spreaker
No, but you can leave reviews. That will really help.
Reviews. We check those too. So however you want to contact us from your home, of course, we are eager to listen to your feedback and discuss it here on the podcast. So without further ado, first question that we have this week is: can Division 2 maintain an audience? So it's the
Can
problem that
they?
we were discussing.
Yeah.
Can
Can
they
they?
maintain their forward pace, their audience, their engagement? I think it's yet to be seen. We can only speculate. Lucho says probably not. I'm kind of the middle of it. I kind of like I we'll wait and see what they do.
I'm just skeptical.
Yes, Lucho is skeptical. I'm hopeful.
Yeah, I'm very skeptical, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. For now, the game has right now a bunch of stuff to do and content if you wanna check it out in these times. So yeah, and it has season and it has like a bunch of activities coming on. The league, for me at least, was fun. The time trial was fun, even if I complain about encounters and stuff. But it was fun at the end of the day. Like I did like to log in and do the time trials, and the rewards are pretty cool. So hopefully, yes, hopefully they maintain an audience, but we will have to wait and see. For our second question of this week is: will you like a Division 3 or just to keep expanding the game?
I don't know.
We like a Division 3. What will it be a Division 3 at this point in the story?
I mean, you can just pick another city and do a Division 3. That's fine.
Yeah.
Like
what? What are the iconic cities you
LA?
have to pick? Yeah, LA or Cali or California, yeah.
Miami,
yeah. Ooh, yeah.
I think LA will be interesting to be fair.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Like, when you pick like the two most iconic American cities, then you will probably pick the third most iconic American city. Right?
Yeah, although I would think that LA is more iconic than
New York?
DC, but fair
Than
enough.
DC? Well, I think it's like
Yeah.
DC has a lot of history. That's the thing, right?
Yeah, DC has a lot of historic value.
Yeah. That's why it's iconic, because it has a lot of historic value. More than that in the popular. But so you will take.
You know what? Miami, it will look like if they choose Miami for whatever reason, just crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy out of the blue. I'll picture like a Grand Theft Auto kind of Miami Vice.
Grand Theft Auto Vice City. with like cages running around with like short shorts and flip flops.
Not only that, but like the whole.
What would be the factions? You have like Latinos factions and like.
I think you have to stay away from race. That's really.
Oh my god. Yeah, Miami would be weird and like funny at the same time.
Yeah, it will be funny. I think it'll be too funny for the division.
For the tone of the game, probably LA will be the most appropriate one.
I think LA could be interesting. It's a big city.
Yeah, it has a bunch of iconic places.
Yeah,
it has like diversity in biomes and that sort of stuff. So there you go. So you will like a Division 3, like with overhaul and that sort of stuff.
I don't know. It just, I think it will give them the opportunity to do a better study. That's the only thing. That's the only reason what I would like to see a Division 3.
To just reset that the story merchant and see if they can do it better with those characters that we mentioned, and giving more importance to everything that you do, more a human-like content story, and that's
But let me say this.
All right.
If they really if they do another city and they just just as an expansion, just keep adding things to the same game.
Yeah.
And in the same game, you have multiple cities, like bigger cities.
Yeah.
It'll be cool as well.
All right, keep expanding the maps, then it will be cool. Like, because DC is a big enough city, and like New York is like a third and a little bit of DC, and it feels a little bit bigger than that because you have a lot of verticality places to explore. So
yeah, but imagine if now they add they say, okay, now we are gonna do a full-on expansion of the game.
Oh yeah,
and it's gonna be another $60 expansion, and they add LA, and it's the same size as DC.
Take kind of taking the WoW model of things.
Kind of, yeah.
All right.
I wouldn't be mad at that. It's just that,
and to be fair, like the people took very well the Warlords of New York expansion.
For sure.
And it sold very well, and it was like $30, which is half of what you're talking about. And it was like a third and a little bit more of a city. So there you go.
So that's what I'm saying. Maybe that'll be the right approach. The only reason why I would reset it, what I would reset the game is just for
story purposes,
for storytelling purposes.
But you can do that in that kind of expansion. Like if you build LA with better systems and expand the
at the end of the day, it is not that important.
Yeah.
At least to me, to be fair.
Yeah, fair enough.
It will be nice, but I don't care that much.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, and that's it for this week.
That's all for this week's episode. Once again, thanks for tuning in to Sweaty the Farmer and the Game Design. My name is Lucho, and you can find me on Twitter at LuisJPolanco.
And I am the Long Name Gamer, and you can find me on Twitter at the Long Name Gamer and on Twitch on twitch.com/LongNameGamerTV, where I stream Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe, tell the people that you are quarantining, that you're listening to this podcast, and what are these guys talking about, and you explain what are you doing, and just tell people, and and join us, and support us in the social media, and do everything that you do to support the content that you like. To the Sweaty, the Farmer, and the Game Design. See you next time. Bye. And did you know boysenberries have an amazing potassium to sodium ratio, which can contribute to reduce the risk of hypertension? They contain a lot of dietary fiber, so you need fiber, which helps to prevent constipation, of course. Fiber can also scrape cholesterol out of the arteries and blood vessels, so very healthy, and if you need fiber, there we go.
Yep. And most commercially grown boysenberries, primarily from Oregon, are processed into a products such as jam, pie, juice, syrup, and ice cream.
You know, when I was looking at this fruit, I thought at the beginning that it was like mora, you know?
Yeah,
because
blackberries.
it looked exactly like it.
It is a hybrid of blackberries with other stuff.
Yeah, it is a hybrid with that kind of blackberries and stuff. Like, have you ever had boysenberries? Like, they look like very similar. But apparently
I don't
they're
think
bigger.
so.
Apparently they're bigger, and they're supposed to at some point they were like very, very popular, and then around the 1970s, because they're very difficult to grow, they fall down on popularity, and now they just grown in very few persons, so they're kind of exotic because they're a hybrid.
I see.
They look exactly like
blackberries.
The blackberries, and they look.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to try to find some, but apparently they're not very common. They're
I don't think so.
They're getting eaten by insects and stuff like that.